Hi guys, let's read the 12th series of ALS Current Affairs 2019-2020. So now let's come to the first topic, that is culture and history. So history and culture. So let's start with the first topic, that is Arumbavur wood carving. So why was this in the news? Recently, the Arumbavur wood carving was recorded, the geographical indication, that is the GI tag, by the Geographical Indications Registry headquartered in Chennai. So now let's read about this wood carving. The USP of Arumbavur work is that the USP of Arumbavur work is that the whole object is carved out of a single block of wood due to the reason that even one mistake can damage the whole work. The application for Arumbavur wood carvings was filed by Pumpuhar in association with the Arumbavur Wood Carvers Handicrafts Industrial Cooperative Society Limited and the Arumbavur Temple Car and Wood Carving Artisans Welfare Society. It is done at Arumbavur and around the Veppanthatai taluk of Perambalur district. So it is done at Arumbavur and around the Veppanthatai taluk of Perambalur district. The wood carvings are primarily made out of wooden logs of Indian series Pu Vagai, Albizia lebec, mango, Mangifera indica, lingam tree, Mavilangam, Indian ash tree, Otian, Odina vodier, rosewood and neem tree, Vimbu, Azadirachta indica. The carvings in Arumbavur wood carvings are often inspired by architectural details on temple sculptures and carvings. The descriptions and designs which inspire the work lie in temple architecture indigenous to the region. The sculptures of Lord Vinayaka, Goddess Saraswati, Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva, and Goddess Parvati can be seen in Arumbavur wood carvings, along with motifs such as Hamsa or mythical swans. Puma Kumbhal, Cornucopia, Kamadhenu, and other floral motifs. So we can see different sculptures of Lord Vinayaka, Goddess Saraswati, Lord Krishna, Lord Shiva, and Goddess Parvati can be seen in Arumbavur wood carvings, along with motifs such as Hamsa or mythical swans, Pumakumbhal, Cornucopia, Kamadhenu, and other floral motifs. Now let's come to the next topic, that is solarization of Konark Sun Temple. So why was this in the news? The Ministry of New and Renewable Energy (MNRE) has taken up the complete solarization of Konark Sun Temple and Konark Town in Orissa. So, the government of India launched a scheme with an objective to take forward Prime Minister's vision to develop the historical Sun Temple town of Konark in Orissa as Surya Nagri. So they're going to develop the Sun Temple town of Konark as Surya Nagri to convey a message of synergy between the modern use of solar energy and the ancient Sun Temple, and the importance of promoting solar energy. The scheme envisages the setting up of a 10 megawatt grid connected solar project and various solar off grid applications like solar trees, solar drinking water kiosk, off-grid solar power plants with battery storage, etc., with 100% central financial assistance of around rupees 25 crore. The project will be implemented by the Orissa Renewable Energy Development Agency. The scheme will meet all the energy requirements of Konark town. Konark Temple. The Konark Temple was built by King Narasimhadeva I of the Ganga dynasty, 1238 to 1264 AD, in the 13th century, and is located in the eastern Orissa near the sacred city of Puri. The temple is designed in the shape of a colossal chariot. It is dedicated to the sun god. There are 2 rows of 12 wheels on each side of the Konark Sun Temple. The 7 horses are said to symbolize the 7 days of the week. The temple was used as a navigational point by the European sailors. They they referred to it as the Black Pagoda due to its dark color and its magnetic power that drew ships into the shore and caused shipwrecks. It is the culmination of Orissa temple architecture. It was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1984. The next topic is Tanzavanati. So why was this in the news? Recently, the Tanzavanati works was accorded the geographical indication, that is the GI tag, by the Geographical Indications Registry headquartered in Chennai. So now let's know more about Tanzavanati. It is made from neti, pith, a marshy plant called as Acinomene aspera. So it is made up of a marshy plant called as Acinomene aspera or Acinomene aspera. The traditional art form has been adapted from one generation to the other, and they are widely found in the Brihadeshwara temple, Hindu idols, garlands, door hangings, and decorative items. The government has recognized the beadwork industry as one of the major handicraft symbols. The artisans made miniatures of Tanjavur Big Temple, Srirangam Sri Ranganath Swami Temple, Madurai Sri Meenakshi Amman Temple, Thiruvalluvar Statue, Mamallapuram Beach, and Swami Vivekananda. Okay, Swami Vivekananda Memorial Rock in Kanyakumari. The application for Tanzavanati works was filed by Tamil Nadu Handicrafts Development Corporation, Pumbuhar. The soil found in Tanzavar is favorable for the growth of the plant that is used for the production of peath handicraft based in Tanzavar. So the name of the plant is Astronomene aspera. Now let's come to the next topic, that is Khadkari Tribe. So why was this in the news? Recently, the Ministry of Tribal Affairs has published the success story of Shahpur's Khadkari Tribe regarding successful implementation of Pradhan Mantri Van Dhan Yojana. So now let's learn more about the Khadkari tribe. Khadkari is one of the 75 particularly vulnerable tribal groups (PVTGs) as per the classification of the Ministry of Home Affairs. The Khadkari tribes are located primarily in Raigad and in parts of Palghar, Ratnagiri and Thane districts of Maharashtra, as well as in some places of Gujarat. Khadkaris are former criminal tribes under the Criminal Tribes Act 1871, an inhumane piece of legislation enforced during the British rule. Khadkaris were historically forest dwellers, as the name Khadkari is derived from a forest-based activity, the making and barter or sale of katechu, khat, from the kher tree, Acacia catechu. They are bilingual, speaking the Khadkari language amongst themselves and Marathi with others, so they are bilingual. Particularly vulnerable tribal groups (PVTGs). 75 tribal groups have been categorized by the Ministry of Home Affairs as particularly vulnerable tribal groups (PVTGs). They reside in 18 states and Union Territory of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. The Ministry of Tribal Affairs implements the scheme of development of particularly vulnerable tribal groups exclusively for them. Now let's come to Pradhan Mantri Van Dhan Yojana. It is a retail marketing-led value addition plan for minor forest produce (MFP), meant for forest-based tribes to optimize the tribal income locally. Under the program MFP, that is minor forest produce based, tribal groups or enterprises of around 300 members are formed for collection, value addition, packaging and marketing of minor forest produces (MFPs). These tribal enterprises will be in the form of Van self-help groups, which will be a group of 15 to 20 members, and such 15 self-help groups will further be federated into a larger group of Van Vikas Kendras (VDVKS) of around 300 members. The TriFed will support the VDVKs through providing them with model business plans, processing plans, and tentative list of equipment for carrying out the value-added work of MFPs. Now let's come to the next topic, that is Kher Bhavani Mela. Kher Bhavani Mela. So why was this in the news? In light of the COVID-19 situation across the country, the Dharmarth Trust of Jammu and Kashmir has cancelled the annual Khair Bhavani Mela, which was scheduled on May 30, 2020. So now let's learn more about this Mela. The devotees have been asked to cooperate with the authorities and perform the worship of the goddess at their homes only. The annual Khair Bhavani Mela, which is held at Tulmula Gardarbal, so Tulmula Gandarbal district, and falls on the auspicious day of Jyesth Astami, 30th May, witnesses lakhs of Hindu pilgrims from across the country, largely the Kashmiri Pandit community, who congregate the famous Ragna Devi temple in Tulmula, popularly known as Mata Khair Bhavani, to seek blessings of their Kul Devi goddess. So the annual Khair Bhavani Mela, which is held at Tulmula Gandarbal district and falls on the auspicious day of Jyeshtha Astami, witnesses lakhs of Hindu pilgrims from across the country, largely the Kashmiri Pandit community, who congregate the famous Ragyana, so it will be the famous Ragyana Devi temple in Tulmula, popularly known as Mata Khair Bhavani, to seek blessings of their Kul Devi goddess. It is believed that the color of the water in the spring around the Khair Bhavani temple changes its color with the change in the circumstances of the Kashmir Valley. Now let's come to SPIC MACAY, Spice Mckay. So why was this in the news? Amid the coronavirus outbreak and nationwide lockdown, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the SPIC MACAY's, so Spice Mckay's International Convention via video conference. So this Spice Mckay, it stands for the Society for the Promotion of Indian Classical Music and Cultural amongst Youth. It is a non-political, nationwide voluntary movement founded in 1977 by Dr. Kiran Seth. Its intention is to enrich the quality of formal education by increasing awareness about different aspects of Indian heritage and inspiring the young mind to imbibe the values embedded in it. It seeks to inspire youth through experiencing the mysticism embodied in the rich and heterogeneous cultural tapestry of Indian and world heritage, with the hope that the beauty, grace, values, and wisdom embodied in these arts will influence their way of life and thinking and inspire one to become a better human being. In 2011, Mckay Spice Mckay was awarded the Rajiv Gandhi Sadbhavana Award in recognition of its contribution to youth development. It celebrates Nishkam Seva, the spirit of volunteerism, of giving selflessly without expectation, a value that is intrinsic to our culture and important to nurture in today's world. It seeks to conserve and promote and awareness of the rich and heterogeneous cultural tapestry amongst the youth of our country through focus on classical arts with their attendant legends and philosophy, and to facilitate an awareness of their deeper and subtler values. It is a non-profit, voluntary, non-political and participatory student movement registered under the Societies Regulation Act 1860. It gets the benefit of Section 80, Clause G, tax exemption under the IT Act 1961. It is supported nationally by the Ministry of Culture, Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, and the Human Resource Department Ministry. Internationally, Spice Mckay is recognized and supported by Rikskonserten, Norway, and Goethe Institute, Germany, which enable conducting of 300 plus concerts by Indian artists in Scandinavia and Germany, and 200 plus concerts by international classical artists across India. Now let's come to the next topic, that is Changpa tribes. So why was this in the news? The Chinese army's intrusion in Chumur and Damchok has left Ladakh's nomadic herding Changpa community cut off from large parts of summer pastures. The Changpa of Ladakh is high-altitude pastoralist, raising mainly yaks and goats. Among the Ladakh Changpa, those who are still nomadic are known as Falpa, and they take their herds from the Hanley Valley to the village of Lato. Hanley is home to 6 isolated settlements where the sedentary Changpa, the Phangpa, reside. Despite their different lifestyles, both these groups intermarry. The Changpa speak Changskat, a dialect of Tibetan, and practice Tibetan Buddhism. Now let's come to what is the issue with these Changpa tribes. The Chinese army has taken over 16 canals, 2 acres of cultivable land in Chumur, and advanced around 15 kilometers inside Damchok, taking over traditional grazing pastures and cultivable lowlands. In a cascading effect, this has resulted in a sharp rise in deaths of young Pasmina goats this year in the Korzok-Chumur belt of Changthang Plateau in Ladakh. This incursion has destabilized the annual seasonal migration of livestock, including yaks and Pasmina goats. In a cascading effect, this has resulted in a sharp rise in deaths of young Pasmina goats this year in the Korjok-Chumur belt of Changthang Plateau in Ladakh. This incursion has destabilized the annual seasonal migration of livestock, including yaks and Pashmina goats. Let's come to Pasmina. The Changthangi or Ladakh Pasmina is a breed of Kashmir goat native to the high plateau of Ladakh. The much valued wool from the Ladakh herds is essential for the prized pashmina shawls woven in Kashmir and famous for their intricate handwork. They survive in the grass in Ladakh, where temperatures plunge to as low as minus 20 degrees Celsius. These gods provide the wool for Kashmir's famous pashmina shawls. Shawls made from pashmina wool are considered very fine and are exported worldwide. The Bureau of Indian Standards (BIS) has recently published an Indian standard for identification, marking, and labeling of pashmina products to certify its purity. Now let's come to the next topic, that is the art of dala madale. So it's the art of dala madale. So now, why was this in the news? Recently, due to COVID-19 crisis, the traditional art of dala madle, a variant of Yakshagana theatre, went virtual. Now let's come to this art. The episode titled Paduka Pradhana was streamed live on different social media platforms on June 13, and more events will follow in future. This virtual event was hosted by Sanatana Raksharanga Cultural Center and Northern California Havyaka Group. Virtual live streaming is not a new trend in case of a Yakshagana performance, but for Dala Madle this was the first. Yakshagana, it is a traditional theatre form of Karnataka and Kerala. It is a temple art form that depicts mythological stories and Puranas, and this art is performed with massive headgears, elaborate facial makeup, and vibrant costumes and ornaments. Usually recited in Kannada, it is also performed in Malayalam as well as Tudu, the dialect of South Karnataka. The instruments used in this art are percussion instruments like jenda, madalam, jagatta, or chengila jumbles, cymbals, okay, and charantala and chakratala and ilathalam, small cymbals. The instruments used in this art are percussion instruments like jenda, madalam, jagatta, or chengila. They are cymbals, and chakratala or ilathalam. They are small cymbals. Now let's come to dala madle. The word dala madle is derived from the word dala, meaning cymbal, and madale, meaning the drum. It is an ancient form of dance practiced in southern India in the coastal Malnad regions of Karnataka and Kerala, and is a variation of the Yakshagana theatre. So it's a variation of the Yakshagana theatre. In the conventional Dala Madle, the artists sit across in a place without any costumes and engage in testing their oratory skills based on the episode chosen, and there is a senior Arthadari and orator. The music is common for both Yakshagana performance and Dalamadle, but in the latter, only words are spoken without any dance and costumes. So that's all for now. See you in my next video. Bye.